Thank you, Presiding Officer, and thank you for your statement, Minister. Your statement paints a very, very grand description of a very grand plan for a new curriculum, and I can't say that I disagree with the objectives of that curriculum. But as you know, the Association of Directors of Education in Wales, along with the Welsh Local Government Association, have said that pupils' learning could be left to chance because the plans are so vague. You have said, with no teaching experience at all, that you've had the audacity to say that they don't understand the proposals or that they're working on out-of-date information. Well, if they don't understand the new curriculum or they're working on out-of-date information, the fault lies with the process that has been put in place for explaining that new curriculum and providing information on it. If essential people are out of date or don't understand the curriculum, then it's the Minister's responsibility to rectify it. So I'd ask what the Minister's plans are to do that. I'd suggest that the real problem here is that the WLGA and the Association of Directors of Education do understand the new curriculum, but they seem concerned about whether that curriculum is clear enough to enable teachers to deliver it and do so consistently across Wales. They've said that in the area of language and literacy learning, quote, there are many high-level and grandiose themes at the expense of the nuts and bolts of language development, speaking, reading and writing, and that science and technology appear to be the least developed area. This should be of concern to everybody. It would also appear that the nuts and bolts, as they put it, of education are taking a second place to ambition for grandiose themes. My question is whether the Minister will take these criticisms on board or simply continue to deny that there may be a problem. I understand that the Minister wants more autonomy for teachers and schools, but does that not clash with the decision to force schools to adopt her vision of personalised assessments and sex and relationship education? So, Minister, how much more genuine autonomy do you want schools to have? And what areas would you not be happy to see them have more autonomy in? Qualifications are only as valuable as their reputation. And in recent years, the new curriculum will have to aim for a qualification at the end of it. But those qualifications are only as valuable as their reputation, as I've just said. And in recent years, we've seen employers lose a certain amount of faith in some university degrees and some universities questioning the value of some exams taken at school. So to what extent have you tested how the new curriculum is being received and regarded by universities and employers, inside and outside Wales? Young people today are having to establish themselves in a job market that's far more globalised than anyone here has had to cope with. So to what extent have you looked at the curriculums of countries such as India and China that are producing more and more young people with exceptional skills? It's all very well looking at other European countries, but is it the developing countries that are increasingly dominating the global jobs market? You can laugh as much as you like, but it's the truth. And so I wonder if you agree with me that we should be looking at how our youngsters can cope with the competition from them, rather than countries that are already having difficulty competing globally. And on the employability subject, although we clearly do need to develop that side of things, the Minister ought not to lose sight of the fact that Wales still needs an education system that encourages young people to become innovators, pioneers, experimenters and groundbreakers. So whilst I agree that numeracy, literacy and digital skills are all important areas because they equip people with the skills they need to cope with day-to-day living and employment, can you tell me, if anything, what you've done to make sure our future curriculum won't just be about training people to have employability skills, but also give them the encouragement and skills needed to become the out-of-the-box thinkers and entrepreneurs of tomorrow? What leadership have you given on that particular matter, Minister? And lastly, the introduction of a new curriculum gives the Minister ample opportunity in future years to say that poor performance could be just down to schools getting to grips with the curriculum, rather than curriculum itself being flawed. So what measures will the Minister put in place so that we will be able to measure its successes and failures and the reasons for them from its start, rather than years later when the Minister is no longer in place to be held accountable for her management of the creation of the new curriculum? Thank you.
Minister.